this week's Replayed, I play Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage for the SNES or the Mega Drive. Did you ever play this, man?
I did hire it, yes.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I never actually owned this, and that was sort of the plan with these Replayed, but I felt that I rented it so many times back when I was a kid that I technically paid enough that I did own it.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how it was. Like, you did go back for repeats, right? Like, if a game was good enough and you wanted to play it more. Because there's nothing worse than having to return it when you just, like, getting into it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I definitely hired this a lot of times because, I don't know, it was just something about it. I was a huge fan of Turtles Arcade and Final Fight, one of my favorite games of all time. Sure, it doesn't hold up today. This genre doesn't hold up at all, but back in those days, they were the shit, man. It's just fucking your favorite characters in these side-scrolling beat-em-ups,
and they look good. They
cool.
Basically brought the comic books to life, right? So they always look pretty damn good.
Yeah, well, the first time I ever saw that Turtles machine, man, I was fucking jizzed in my pants, man. I could not believe how, and it was a big 4-player machine, you know.
Yep.
Everyone could be a turtle, and it was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, and then Simpsons and all that as well came from that.
I never rated The Simpsons.
Really?
Never liked it, man. It wasn't a good game. I didn't feel that it didn't fit that sort of scheme as a game. Like Marge with a vacuum cleaner. It's just stupid, you know.
Fair enough.
A lot of people do love it. I played through again when they released it on the PSN a couple of years ago, but no, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, okay.
All those games are terrible, man. It's monotonous button mashing, fucking just keep going. Put quarters in the machine until you finish it, you know. So
yeah,
that's the sad thing. This was like one of the home versions. But the good thing about this game, Spider-Man and Venom, was it was based on actual comic book, an arc of comic book.
Yeah.
So it was a 14 comic book series that spread across the whole Spider-Man multiverse at that time.
Yeah, one of the classics.
Yeah. And because I love Spider-Man as a kid, this was like the perfect game, man. And it actually played a lot better than most of those beat-em-ups because they actually put effort into it. So you could swing around as Spider-Man and Venom. They pretty much controlled the same, except Venom was a little slower, but more powerful. But Spider-Man was a lot more, what's the word? Agile. Yeah, so he could jump around quicker and switch between enemies a lot easier.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just swinging through the levels instead of walking was much better, and you could swing and then kick people off the swing. You could climb up and hide from the enemies if you're low on health, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like you could hold the web button and he'd make the shield. It looked like Captain America's shield. It was just all cool shit like that. So it came out 24th of November '94 here in Oz. I think it was September '94 in America. So this is a long fucking time ago. It was actually the first game to be based on a comic book, apparently.
A comic book arc, not characters though.
Yeah, like literally translated from the comic book to the screen, because the game actually starts with the artwork and like it's an animation of the pages.
Yeah.
Screen,
I remember that. It looked pretty cool. I mean, I didn't read the comics, but yeah, the story was pretty cool. But I think like because Venom this is when comics was starting to grow up again a bit. So like, and Venom and Carnage and that, and even Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man had a heap of like really talented artists, like even like Todd McFarlane, right, who went on to create Spawn. But yeah, the artwork in these characters was always pretty freaking amazing. The game before this I owned was Spider-Man and the X-Men in Arcade's Revenge.
Yeah.
And that was a fucking terrible game.
You know what? Like, I looked into all the Spider-Man games while I was doing this.
Yeah.
This is by far the best out of all of them.
It's gotta be.
And I was playing the Spider-Man, that Arcade Revenge thing, and it's fucking terrible.
Oh, man.
It's just, the swinging didn't work, the fucking jumping wasn't great, and you stuck to walls, and you got fucking... You couldn't get from off a wall over a ledge, and
you have to be Cyclops, and he controls like crap, and That was a regret. It looked cool on the pack, but like on the box, but taking it home, man, that was a heartbreaker. That one.
That was the beauty of renting games back then, because if it was shit, you knew you didn't have to buy it. So.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, this was made by Software Creations, who initially, I think it was back in '84, they started up and they were making ports of arcade games for Commodore 64.
Oh, okay.
And they got famous because they made this fucking awesome port, Bubble Bubble, which got critical acclaim and made shitloads of money for them because it was such a good port that everyone loved it. And then that led to them making... Like, these guys made just about... When you think about any port, like Double Dragon for the Mega Drive, you've got every superhero sort of game that came out on the SNES and Mega Drive. These guys were sort of behind, so yeah, a lot of them aren't that good. As you mentioned, Arcade's Revenge is actually one of theirs as well.
Okay.
But yeah, so they even had a sequel to this game, Spider-Man and Venom, Separation Anxiety, and it's nowhere near as good as this one for some reason. It came out probably 11 months after this. Yeah. You think it'd be just the same game, and they went and followed a different comic book series. But it's just a totally different game because I think they added in multiplayer, which changed how the game played.
Multiplayer?
Yeah, Maximum Carnage, you think it's Spider-Man and Venom on the cover. You think, fuck, this'd be awesome, it's 2-player, but no, it's single player. But the cool thing with that was that the first 4 levels of Spider-Man, like once you get past that, you get a choice. You can either be Venom or you can be Spider-Man.
Yep.
And if you pick Venom, you go on a different path. So you go down in San Francisco and you fight a totally different like boss battle, different enemies and shit. If you pick Spider-Man, you go on a different path on the rooftops and shit. And then eventually they coincide, and then at some point you can pick either one to play the same levels. But it was very, very cool and out there. So so it was made by Software Creations, and they also made, do you remember Pluck for the SNES?
Oh yes.
Pluck, that used to feature prominently on one of those game shows as well. Like, remember Bubsy?
Yeah,
was
amazing.
On that show?
It was amazing.
Yeah, and they had Pluck as well. You had to collect a certain amount of things in the time.
His hand came out, and it kind of looked like Play-Doh, right?
I can't remember. But I just remember that name, Pluck.
Yeah.
But so they were owned by Acclaim, and you remember Acclaim? They were the fucking...
Oh man, Acclaim were the licensed kings as well.
Acclaim owned. Yeah, Acclaim owned LJN, which bring out this game, was a subsidiary of Acclaim.
Yeah.
And Acclaim were the people that put all the Midway games onto the consoles. So they gave you the Mortal Kombats, the NBA Jams, the fucking NFL Blitzes, and they had remember Iguana Entertainment? That used to be on the front arm of NBA Jam and shit. So it was all part of that sort of thing. And then when they went bankrupt in 2004, they sadly broke up Software Creations and sold them off piecemeal. So they no longer exist, and all their IP and shit went fucking... Who knows, you know?
Fell into
but apparently Software Creations actually made any music you remember from the Nintendo 64 is actually because of these guys, because they created the hardware or software for the Nintendo 64, which was all the music.
Really?
Yeah, there's fucking weird companies out there that done all these weird shit that I'm finding out about while going through this fucking process.
Oh, right.
So that's pretty cool. So yeah, it was published by LGN, which everyone knew was not a good thing back in those days.
No.
Or you would, more than I would, but
I think I got
NES games.
Yeah, like Terminator 2 and that. Yeah, terrible. It was all licensed, and because I'm such a sucker for like movie tie and shit.
Yeah.
I was burnt a lot.
A lot. So, you know LGN to be fucking shit. Yes. I know because of their legacies that I know that they put out shit games, but this was fucking champion game, man, and a lot of people actually like it and remember it fondly. So
yeah, well, it's probably the one game that sort of stood out. Well, where they got all the moving parts right, because there was a lot of other attempts.
Well, they just put in the effort because basing it on a comic book, they actually had a good story for once. Instead of trying to come up with this whole bullshit video game story, they actually just followed straight from the pages. So
yeah,
this is basically about Carnage. He was like the alien symbiote, that was like Venom.
Mm-hmm.
They were their own beings that created this fucking suit around whoever they went into. And I think Cletus Cassidy was his name, which was Carnage. Cletus Cassidy.
Hey, mom. Look at my
redneck motherfucker.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was beaten by Spider-Man. He was being taken to Ravencroft Asylum.
Oh, yeah.
And they thought the symbiote had gone from his thing, but apparently it copied itself into his blood. And then he became Carnage. So he breaks out of Ravencroft. And he breaks out with Shriek. I don't know if you know her at all. She's a super villainess from the Spider-Man universe.
Not too familiar with her, no.
Well, apparently she was a junkie. And so she loved drugs and shit. So she became insane because she took heaps of crack and heroin and shit. And, you know, Cloak and Dagger?
Yep.
So Cloak apparently takes, you know how he pulls out his coat? And he took her in to rescue her one time, and she got all the powers from being inside his fucking parallel dimension that's inside his cloak or whatever. I don't know how it all works, but yes. But now she can control sound waves and shit. So
yeah.
But apparently, so Carnage and Shriek they sort of become lovers, and then they rope in all these other people. Like, do you remember Doppelganger?
Yep.
Like the 6-armed Spider-Man and shit.
Yep.
You had Demo Goblin. You had Carry-On. I don't remember them at all.
Carry-On? What was his superpower? He got extra luggage when he flew.
Yeah, that sounds good. I can't tell you. I can't remember.
Yeah, not familiar.
But basically, Carnage and Shriek think that they're these mother and father to these fucking bad villains, and they go on a killing rampage through New York, and so that's your job as Spider-Man and Venom to stop them. So it's a pretty cool story.
And all this was like, I really don't remember. I remember playing the game and I enjoyed it and the art and that, but all this story was actually put into the game as well.
Yeah, pretty much, man. That's all your cutscenes and shit between levels.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they went out. They actually They did something to the normal people of New York, which turned them against each other, and they got to the point where they're going to kill their own kids and shit.
Oh, dark.
Yeah, it's very, very dark storyline. I don't know if that was in the game. I know that's from the comics. But yeah, as the death toll fucking generally increased, Spider-Man, Venom, Captain America, Black Cat, Nightwatch, Cloak and Dagger, Iron Fist, Deathlock, Morbius, and Firestar all joined in the fight to stop him. So you only ever get to play Spider-Man and Venom, but you can get power-ups in the game which call down Firestar, Captain America, and they come in and they do the specials.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But another big thing about the game was it was one of the colored carts.
Oh, I love colored carts.
Yeah, everyone does. Like, everyone wants that gold fucking Ocarina of Time card. No one wants the grey one. No. They want the gold one.
Yep.
So originally when this was released, it came out on a red cart for both systems.
Oh, even on the Mega Drive.
Yeah. But then as it got re-released, there was the black cart for Mega Drive and the grey cart for the SNES.
Right.
But sadly, my video shop only ever had the black one, so I only just found out this now. So
yeah, I don't remember it being red. I mean, what are the games I can remember? Killer Instinct, Donkey Kong
Black
64, Yellow, Ocarina. Yeah, I can't ever say that I remember seeing a coloured Mega Drive cart.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now. I remember the EA ones with the yellow tab and the rectangle shape, but there was never. I don't remember
the
any
cart.
So, yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because I went on eBay looking for this to buy it, the red cart. I don't know if it came out in Australia, but UK has it, so you'd assume it'd be the same because they're both power. So yeah, I ended up getting it for like $29. with a shitty cover, so I'm pretty not happy about that. But the cartridge works and the gameplay's fine. So
on SNES or Mega Drive?
I got it on Mega Drive because even though they reckon they're the same, apparently the SNES version, which is the one I played when I was a kid, because that's what I rented, it had slowdown and fucking a lot of sort of button input lag. You know, I remember it was a bit slow, but but it looked better. But the Mega Drive version played better with a better frame rate. So, because I'm older now and I've learnt these things, I thought, fuck, I'll get the better version. Why not? You know. So
I always assumed that shit was better on SNES.
You think so, yeah, but because they had it was better graphics, it slowed down the frame rate. So yeah,
understood. Yeah. Oh, and it was one of the later looking Mega Drive covers. Well, I'm looking at the Genesis cover, but you know when they changed it to have Genesis or Mega Drive running up the left side of the thing?
No, in Australia it was different. It still had the Mega Drive in the sort of circle up the top.
Oh, okay.
And it was yeah. But I think they re-release. Depends which one you're looking at. I've got the old one.
The nostalgia's just washing over me.
But another huge thing for this game that wasn't ever done before was they had the first ever soundtrack done by a band.
What?
Yeah, but you had things like Rock and Roll Racing, but they weren't done by an actual like big licensed band. And I don't know.
I thought that was Aerosmith. What was their game?
Revolution X.
Yes.
That came out a lot later, man. That was a Saturn game.
Alright.
I think it did come to the SNES actually. It was an arcade game at first. Yeah, but the band. Do you remember a band called Green Jelly?
Oh, how can you not? Only for one bloody song though.
And do you remember that song?
Little pig, little pig,
little pig. Not by the hair of my chin.
Boffin, yes. Sadly, yes.
They were famous for the Three Little Pigs, which was actually famous for its actual... Remember the clip?
Oh, it was fantastic.
It was all claymation. Yeah. So it was directed by Fred Sturr, which was well known for... I don't know if you remember the Rage days where the Tools... Always remember the Tool clips? And they had the fucking claymation as well and the weird fucking effects and shit.
No, my claymation was more like Gumby and shit like that.
Yeah. Rage always, our music fucking channel back in the old school days used to play a shitload of songs from Tool when they'd have heavy metal nights, and one of the clips was a song called Sober, and that fucking was all this weird claymation shit that used to spin me out as a kid. So it's just cool that these things sort of fucking link together.
Yeah, crazy.
But Green Jelly was actually also well known for the Bear song. I don't know if you remember it. It's from one of your favorite fucking shitty movies, Dumb and Dumber.
Bear song in Dumb and Dumber?
The Bear song. It features in Dumb and Dumber. I don't know where because I fucking hate that movie with a passion, but that's apparently... I'd love to sing it for you, but I don't remember it at all, so...
Okay. Yeah, not... I really thought they were one-hit wonders.
Yeah,
so
they pretty much were, but...
I'm surprised they got this gig.
Green Jelly was around like 83 to... They're still going now. They keep having reunion tours and shit, so...
Yeah, I'm not going to pay money just to see them do one song. And play the soundtrack to Maximum Carnage. Is it a good soundtrack?
It's...
memorable?
Let's see, it's not actually guitars and shit. They actually made it and it's then synthesized onto the Mega Drive or the SNES. It's not actually them playing guitars and shit.
Oh, I didn't think it could be.
But yeah, but they actually did like the whole soundtrack, and it's just, yeah, I found it weird that it was the first ever fucking soundtrack done by a band, so.
There you go, Green Jelly.
Very cool. But other than that, the gameplay is...
Sorry, this is the Bear song.
Ha!
Yeah, nah. Sounds pretty rocking.
Do you remember it or not?
Nah, not at all.
No.
Oh, I'll look into that later. Yep.
But yeah, back to the gameplay. this game, yeah, typical beat 'em up, but it's extremely fucking hard, man.
Oh yeah, they always were.
They were just quarter mashers, man. Coin mashers back in the day, so it was never at the arcade. So you'd think being a home console version it'd be a little easier, but you get one fucking continue. One continue.
Can you earn another one with X amount of points?
I haven't so far.
Be able to.
Maybe when I was a kid, I probably got further than I can now, and that's what pisses me off, man. But there's the first level is just straight up beat 'em up, yeah.
Yep.
And then it goes second level, and it just says climb, and you got to climb the background from that first level, as Spider-Man. So you're climbing up a building, you got to swing across, and shrieks sending down sound waves.
Oh god,
and
I'm remembering this. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just like little arrows fucking saying, "Oh, watch out, it's coming from this way." But what they're not telling you is you got to move the opposite way. So I've been moving towards the arrow, and it's just I'm losing all my lives on this second level, and I can't get anywhere. And it's really badly controlled when you got to climb up the building.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But the actual fighting is fucking awesome. So it's a shame, but so as a kid, yeah, I probably finished this game, but I can't. I thought being all these years later, I'd be better at this sort of shit, but I've just got so frustrated. I can't get past. I think I got 4. I got up to picking Venom for the first time, 4 levels in, and I just died, and I'm like, fuck.
I didn't have the patience back then for this shit. I really would not have it now. I reckon Spider-Man and X-Men, I got to like the 3rd or 4th level. I just, nah.
Yeah.
This is the same.
So sadly, it's very nostalgic in memory for me, but it's actually ruined by me playing it now because it's so hard. Yeah, it's so hard and frustrating. It's still very cool because it's actually still a good beat 'em up, fucking that genre of game, but it's just, yeah, it's too tough on you. You die too quick. You've only got 3 lives and then you only got 1 continue. Mm-hmm. There's a cheat where you put in a second controller and put in a code, gives you 5 continues, but sadly I've got a Mega Drive and I've only got 1 fucking controller.
I was just gonna say, won't somebody think of the poor kids? Yeah.
So yeah, I'm spewing, so I can't get anywhere in it. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's a good concept, and the fact that it was the first of its kind in soundtrack wise and copying its story from a comic book arc, it's pretty crazy, man. Yeah, as I said, it came out with the sequel, Separation Anxiety, which was fucking. I played it on an emulator as well as all those other Spider-Man games lately, and yeah, it just doesn't hold up to this one. I don't know if that's because of nostalgia, but I just don't think it plays as good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be that's about it for RePlayed this week. Unless you got anything to add.
No. It's well, we got double the nostalgia because it's not just a game, but it's also a comic book series, one of the classics.
Yeah.
And you know, as we talked about, as we have talked about, there's possibly a Venom Carnage movie coming out, so it'll be interesting to see how this all ties back into it.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you know, we just can't escape the bloody superheroes. But yeah, and it's also interesting and a little bit sad that, and you knew the risk of this happening, I guess. Yeah. Going back and playing things, it's like movies as well. Sometimes you realize they're just as great as you remembered. Sometimes they're better, but I think most of the time they're going to be worse. So it'll be interesting to see as we keep going what holds up and what doesn't.
That's very true, man. Okay, well that's it for RePlayed this week.